Hello and welcome to Diary of a Mad Program Manager. So today we'll be doing something a little bit different. I want to introduce you to the inaugural Hot Seat series. So this is where I will be interviewing project and program managers and any other professional connected with the project's ecosystem. We'll be discussing projects, we'll be discussing certifications and anything else that's of relevance. So this one was shot on site in Agadir, Morocco, at a wedding. It was a bit impromptu, so excuse the fact that it is in portrait. Future ones will be much better, I do promise that. But all I can say is please do like and subscribe before we dive in, and of course, enjoy. Hello and welcome to Diary of a Mad Program Manager. Today we have the pleasure of being in sunny Agadir, Morocco for a friend's wedding. And as one knows, behind every wedding there's always a project and of course a project manager. So it'll give me much pleasure to introduce into the inaugural hot seat, Kumbi Adeola. Kumbi, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to speak to me on my blog. So,
Thanks for having me.
oh, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. It's been a wonderful wedding, wonderful few days out here. But I'd like to know a bit more about you. You know how you got into the events industry to arrive at creating this wedding. So, over to you.
Okay, it's actually a roundabout way actually. From 2008, myself and my husband run a small charity. So as part of that charity, we used to do a lot of fundraising events to try and get money for the charity. Obviously, because it was a small charity, we couldn't really afford to hire an event planner. So I became the event planner, and I didn't really like to wing planning the events. So I actually did an event management diploma to be able to do things properly. And so, the charity being small, I had spare capacity to be able to take on other people's events. And slowly but surely, I began to do small events for other people. That's
Wonderful,
the story.
wonderful. And it's interesting how no one actually plans to do these things, but as a result of circumstance, these things happen.
That's right.
But now onto the wedding. So this has been an amazing wedding. I know there's been quite a run up to it. Please tell me a bit more about the scope and the beginnings of the planning for this wedding.
Yes, so the groom is the one that actually approached me about planning the wedding. So I sat down with the groom and the bride to find out exactly what vision they have for their wedding. So really, most plannings, majority of them start with a briefing session where you find out what is the vision of the couple, also who are the guests, what are the demographics, and the kind of things that they like, whether their values, who's coming, when is it, and those kind of things. You have the what, when, where, and how of the wedding. So that's the first thing that we do.
Oh, amazing. And for this wedding, I know it's not just been about the wedding. No doubt there have been multiple work streams that have gone together to integrate and intertwine numerous dependencies that form. This is not even a project, it's actually a program, to be honest. Please tell me about some of the different work streams that you've had to manage, you've had to coordinate, and how they've all kind of come together as one.
Okay, so this wedding is a destination, it's what we call a destination wedding, because it's a wedding that's outside where the couple themselves and their families live. So they've chosen Morocco as a destination, and I have this is my 5th event in Morocco, so I do have Agadir here, this is my 3rd event here. So I kind of have an expertise, I would say. about, if you can call it that, about Agadir. So there were different aspects that we had to look at. The venue, is it the right venue for them? And then the different things. They have guests coming out to celebrate the wedding with them over 4 days. Obviously the wedding is only 1 day. So what else do we build in for the guests? Because they've flown thousands of miles to come here. We try and build in activities for them to do, the tours for them to do. And other hotels, the hotels that we pick, do they have activities? Does it have entertainment so that people can make a semi-holiday out of the time together with the couple?
Amazing. And to say it does show from the quality of the time we spent out here that Agadir is a bit of a speciality for you. So that comes as no surprise to myself. And as amazing as this wedding has been and the few days where we spent with the wedding party, no doubt there have been some issues and some risks that maybe happened underneath the surface. You know, you may look like a swan on top, but frantically paddling underneath. Do tell us about some of the risks and maybe some of the issues, maybe about 3 or 4, no more, and how you've mitigated for those.
So when you decide to do a destination wedding, obviously the nation you're going to is not your nation. You have to look, is it a politically stable nation? You're bringing people in. So look at the nation, look at the way the risk. For Morocco, it's a relatively stable nation. They don't have any issues, and they have a growing tourist industry, which they want to maintain. They don't want anything to rock that. So you look at that. You look at the hotel. Is it a hotel have great reviews? You come there, is it clean? Is it going to be a welcoming place for the guests? You look at things like the food. Will the food be suitable for the different people that are coming? You look at the journey. This one is a relatively short journey. Some people can't go on long journeys. So if you want to have a destination that's not too far, you look at that. This is within 4 hours of the UK. So things like that. And then you look at the demographics of the guests to plan the different events. So a lot of this couple were a mature couple. So the assumption is that a lot of their guests will be mature guests. So obviously you're not going to plan events like skydiving. That's more suited for the young people. So you look at those kind of things as well. What kind of events are we planning? What kind of activities are we planning? And what are the risks of those activities? So we try and plan activities that are not like high risk activities as well. So those are the kind of ways that you look at different aspects of events to see what to mitigate for any kind of risk with events.
Awesome, fantastic. And also. As with every project and program, there are stakeholders. We know the couple clearly are 2 separate stakeholders in their own right, and probably a stakeholder as a couple, but there have been other stakeholders that you've had to work with and please and bring to the table, as it were. Maybe if you could highlight some of these stakeholders, some of them may not be as obvious to us who've been just out here enjoying the wedding. So yeah.
Well, the guests, for example, they're a major stakeholder. A lot of them have paid their way. They've all paid their way to come for the event. So there are things that they're expecting. The smoothness of the journey. So we arrange airport transfers for them as well. The venue that they come into, the hotel. They're major stakeholders that you always have to think about the guests. As much as you think about the couple, think about the guests. You also have the hotel that you're coming to. Is it going to be, who are the guests there? The hotel also want to know who are the guests that are coming.
Right.
Is our hotel going to be secure? They're not going to come and trash the venue. They're not the kind of guests that will come and trash their property. So we have to think about that as well. We've come to a 5-star venue, and we've got guests that we know will be comfortable here, and that we're comfortable to even recommend them to come here.
And I do recommend this particular venue. I would love to come back myself, thanks to your superb organisation. Now, I know with as with all projects, the project the program is still running. The wedding was 3 days ago now.
Yes. Yes.
2-3 days ago. But the program is still running. I believe we're winding down. No doubt there'll be some lessons learned, some takeaways and some feedback. Are you in a position to share any of your observations from lessons learned?
Well, lessons learned, always lessons learned in every event. For example, we have, this time we had the guests who didn't check out on time and were charged. So obviously the lesson learned is to not assume that every guest will read what you said about the checkout time. And also, when you know the checkout time, make sure you also ask people, have you checked out? And you can see that today, as we did the farewells, I did ask, make sure you check out. I made sure I told them again. So obviously, for people living with us tomorrow, we'll be asking, I hope you've checked out of the hotel, so that you don't have any nasty bills when you get back to your country.
Yeah. Awesome. And that leads me to another point as well, about the communication etiquette that's been on point from yourself. Unfortunately, not everyone would read the messages, and although there's a bit of WhatsApp fatigue, but the messages have been very informative. And one thing I noted was that there was a WhatsApp group for all the guests, and you kept a very tight rein on who was able to communicate in that group. So it's actually just yourself. I'm not sure if the bride and groom were in a position or had permission to do so, but it was pretty much a broadcast communication setup until I think it's about 10 days or so before the wedding. Then you opened it up for everyone. But by then, all the questions had been answered, all the major questions had been answered and covered. So it's just last minute stuff. And I thought that was an absolute gem. I've never seen that before, and that was fantastic. I don't know how many guests. How many guests did you have to?
So we had 73 guests for the wedding. And yes, we deliberately start off the WhatsApp group like that because it's our main means of communicating with the guests. Some people like to use websites, but I find that with websites, it's an added thing that you're asking the guests to do. Clock into the website, put in the password. And a lot of guests, in my own experience, don't do that. So they miss out on a lot of the information. But with WhatsApp, it's handy. People look at their phone all the time. And I myself am able to see who has read the messages and who has not, which I cannot do with the website. And so therefore we feed the information slowly. Just like you said, WhatsApp fatigue, so you can't overload information. You have to give it in bits and pieces. So today we might talk about the itinerary. Tomorrow we might talk about, or next week we might talk about this is the dress code. Then we'll talk about the transfers. We don't put the information there at one time because it makes it a heavy read for something that's meant to be, a pleasurable thing. So that's how we run the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, and it worked. It absolutely worked.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, I just want to say thank you very much. Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Well, so we've been doing the events since 2008. And as I said, some people set up an events company off of the back of them being married, getting their wedding, and think they become a specialist in events. And that's often not the case. As I've said, I'm a certified planner. I've been doing this since 2008, so lots of experience. Also, I do not just weddings, I do birthdays. I have one coming up in Spain this next month. We do anniversaries, we do meetings, and pretty much anything that's a celebration in any sort of way. We do that, and we get a lot of our people from our events. People come on one event, they like it, they feel we've delivered, and we often recommend our services. And so yes, you have a celebration in the UK or any nation in the country, in the world actually, we'll be happy to help you with anything that you need to do.
Fantastic, thank you. And I'll put Kumbi's details on after this video. All that remains for me to say is thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure being out here in Agadir. You have made it what it's been. So thank you very much, Kumbi. And thank you all for watching Diary of a Mad Program Manager. See you all on the next episode. Ciao.